everything should be student-based. I mean, this is my second year of teaching, all right? So the first year was all about me learning how to fix things, to teach things, right? Now I'm finding I get so much more out of the students if I interact with them. So first things I try to do is get the students to talk to me about how they best learn, what are the different activities they like to do. Some of them say, well, I like to role act. Some of them say, I'm a visual person. Whatever the case might be, you take all these, these styles in, and every lesson plan you do, all right, you try to add something from each category. And you can see, they love it. It doesn't bore them. It's something new. It's always interactive. And on top of all that, you deal with them as individuals.
Well, I like to learn, especially through visual arts, and so like videos and films. And I must agree, some of my best teachers do a lot of doodling on the boards, just so we can get an image to go along with what they're trying to get across to us and what they're trying to teach us. And also when they sort of go on their little tangents, but within reason, like if they're keeping on topic and giving us background information to say Shakespeare and like what was going on when he was living then and how that reflects in his work and his plays and such. So I find that interesting, and that makes it a lot more fun.
I tell them, like, I got this idea from you. Don't think that this was, I was sitting at home for the weekend and I thought about this. I said, you guys told me what you wanted to do, and I just kind of put it into fruition, and here you guys are building. For example, with this came from an idea was, I'm curious, there's all this wiring in my walls, is that something I can do? And I was like, absolutely. And now it's sparked an interest where now it's a career. I've had now 5 students in the last 3 years of me being here go and take on residential wiring at Red River College.
It helps me kind of think about what the students it is they want to get out of education in general, right? Like even things like learning what it is they want to learn about this project, and kind of just getting their voice so they are answering their own questions rather than ours all the time. Don't tell them exactly what it is we want them to learn, but ask what it is they want to learn, and then build off of that. Yeah, when I first got into teaching, it was more so I thought about the content that I was trying to get across, where now so it's more so what I think the students want to learn, and I find ways to tie that into the curriculum as well.
Students really need to have a voice in the school in order for the school to be as engaging and as enjoyable as it could be. If the students don't really say what they need or what they want or what they need help with, then they won't really get help, and they won't really proceed more in their educational life.
Why is it making me a better teacher? If you look around me right now, I can almost guarantee all these kids are working. And I've given them maybe a few days of instruction, I guide them along, but they come in here early for class. They try to come in during their lunches to work on the project. So then that relevancy now engages the students.
How has this made me a better teacher? By kind of adapting and responding accordingly and hopefully in a way to challenge them and just try to find that meaning. Where are they coming from? Where are they coming from, and why are they responding the way they respond to certain situations, and hopefully I can find that connection and help them make that connection to the world and to this environment we call school.
Well, I think if you are not really listening to what your students are telling you, you're obviously you're working in isolation of your children. And the most powerful practice is when you are, taking what children say, whether that's through feedback or assessment or conversations, anecdotally, but you're really listening to them, and then you're shaping your practice and changing it accordingly. And for kids, I think they tell us what the kinds of most powerful things and the most powerful learning experiences that they have in school. And if I know when kids say, I really want hands-on learning. I want to work through projects. I want to have art integrated. I need sport as a regular part of my day. If you're listening to those things, you're going to have kids excited to come to school and fully participating in the life of school. I think that's huge. Well, I think if you want to impact the culture of student voice in the school, as a principal, you have to work with the teachers to do that. You have to understand what their practice is in the classroom. You have to be in the classroom with them, understand how they plan, understand how they negotiate that curriculum with kids. And so you can't do that with a hands-off approach. You got to know what the classroom teacher is doing in there. And one of the approaches we take in our school is principals as co-teachers, and principals, my vice principal, myself, we actually block off time during our week on a regular basis so that we can do that teaching alongside of teachers. I just can't think about how you would make more of an impact on your students and your ideas about teaching practice unless you actually get into classrooms and work alongside of teachers in that educative relationship.
I really like using dance to make a connection, between myself, my world, and their own world. And for the most part, music and dance and just the liberal arts is, I find that's their way of expressing themselves, and they use any of those areas to really try to find a voice, and I encourage that, and I look for different ways for them to use any of those different subjects to be able to express themselves.
I think student engagement is enormously important in schools, because if you don't have your students that are connecting to the material, then there's not going to be much passion. And with that, on the other end of it, teachers need to bring that passion as well too. The energy I bring in the morning, whether I'm mellow, whether I'm excited, whether I'm just super stoked and excited about the math, that's going to transfer over to the kids. And that's a huge part, I think, of what we do here at Arthur Wright. Pushing thinking beyond the box of what we know in education, pushing our ideas. Just because it's the model that we've used in the past, we got to ask ourselves, is it the best way? Are we doing our best to honor children, who they are, how they learn? Are we pushing ourselves to be better teachers? So, yeah.
You must include students. You must have students give you their opinions, their reactions. You must see if they actually understand what you're trying to tell them and what doesn't. And what's been working for me very well is getting advices from so many teachers who have been teaching for so long, principals, friends, and different things they've been doing with their classes. And you try to bring those different pieces, and you add to it, obviously, your own spin, and you see that you get a lot more results. And instead of having a quiet afternoon class, you have something, active, something loud, something that, I like to come into your class. You see kids in the hallways even, and they tell you, okay, what are we doing today? They're excited to come to your class. And first year as a teacher, I didn't have that much, it wasn't the same, let's put it that way. Because I was still learning, I was still trying to, see what works, what doesn't. I was still trying to learn about the curriculum and the subject itself, right? So now that I've taught it for a whole year, I know it better. And I know me better, and I know different things work for different students, right? So that, given all that experience and that, the different things I tried, I think it's all about interaction. Bring the kids in, bring them in.
That's the purpose of teaching. That's what teaching is about, is hearing their voice and interacting with their voice, and then just guiding that voice.